Hi, today I'm going to work on putting a route in my Indian Roadmaster. There's a couple little things that you have to tweak in order to make it work pretty good. It's still not as good as what I used to use, which was my Garmin Zumo 660. When you use this unit, you'd have to use some software on the computer that would create a route, and then you would export that route into the Garmin and it would take you down twisties or wherever you want to go. There are settings in the software that would allow you to take the fastest route, the shortest route, avoid highways, avoid toll roads, things of that sort, which is nice. The Roadmaster Ride Command also has that built into it, and I will explain later that does cause some problems. So in order to do this, I've done some research. The information's out there. I just thought I'd put a little video together that captures how I do it and some of the things that I did to keep my route that I create on here to not change when I put it in the on the motorcycle. So what I'm going to use is Google Maps, and in Google Maps you can put up to 9 waypoints, which I would suggest you use all of them to try to lock in your route so it doesn't take you on the shortest route or the quickest route or things of that sort. So you want to get exactly the roads you want in your route, and then you want to export that. Once we export that, or we have that file, we're going to copy that and put it into a converter. We're going to convert it into a GPX file, and then we're going to take that GPX file, put it in the Indian converter, convert it again, and then from that we're going to take that file and we're going to put it into the motorcycle. When we bring it into the motorcycle, there's going to be some issues, and we're going to take a look at that later, and I'll show you what I did to make it work and not change the route too much. So from there we'll go to here. Okay, we're on Google Maps. We're going to make a route. Let's see if we've got this centered up right. Here's our first spot. Okay, we're going to make a route from there. Get some directions. We're going to go to another place. Let's see, why don't we go way over here? Let's see if that's on. Yep, let me turn this a little bit. There we go. All right. So now it gives us a couple different alternatives. Okay, that's kind of cool. Now we're going to go and add one more. Let's add one more point, and let's add this point down here. Is that one showing up? Let's add one right, how about this one right here, right there. Okay, now the way this thing is set up, we need to change the order, and the order would be for this one to move to the top. Alright, now let's turn this back again since this computer is moving it all over the place. Okay. Alright, so now what that did was it sent us from our original starting point, and it came down here all the way to this point and over to this point. Now we want to get back to the original point, so I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to add this original point again. And it took us back on the same road. But I don't like to go on the same road twice. If I'm going to be out for a ride, so I'm going to go and bring this one down. And let's go here. Now this isn't a very fancy map at all. But just to give you an idea, I've just put in 4, 5 points. This one here that I just put in right here, that's my 5th point. You can put up to 9 points. Let's see if I pull this one down. How about that? That really makes it kind of crazy. And let's say that this one here, I want to go down this way to get there. All right. And instead of going in a straight line, let's say I want to go up through here. All right, so this is just a few more points, just trying to make it a little more complex. So that's my route, and I'm going to take that route and I'm going to export that. So the first thing I want to do is up at the top, let me just bring this up here. I'm going to take the URL, click on it, right mouse button, and copy it. Okay, so now I've got the URL on my clipboard. Next step, we need to go into some different software. Grab the GPS visualizer. Now this is a program, let's see, it's the GPS visualizer. And oops, there is the URL. All right, so here, the first thing you're going to want to do, it's pretty simple, it's only a couple things you do on this software, is you want to turn that URL from Google Maps into a GPX file. So right here, you're going to click on this, and that says I want a GPX file. The next thing you're going to do is down here it says provide a URL. So you're going to click on that and paste that in there. Okay? We're going to click on this green bar on the bottom, and that's going to give you a bunch of options. Now let me move this back a little bit. I've tried this a couple different ways, and there's been suggestions out there of different ways to use this screen. What I found is the best one is to take merge all tracks and turn that to yes. And I've done this around 8 different times with the same map. Not the one that I showed you, but a different one. And then down here, I'm going to change that to the bottom one. Convert all points to waypoints. So all of those little points that I put in there, all those points, they're now waypoints. I'm trying to lock in the map the best I can. So when we make our final conversion, put it on the motorcycle, it doesn't change my route. So just those 2 changes, that's all you have to do in this. Again, it's turn this one here, merge all tracks, say yes, and then convert all points to waypoints. All right, then you just go here and click on convert. All right, now you got this page here that's showing you all kinds of stuff, and if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of stuff here, and the only thing that you need is one thing. It's this one right here. It's right above the big green bar here. It says click to download. So I click that, and I now have this here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a save as so I can put it on my desktop, and I'm going to change the name. We'll just call it test map. Alright, here is the Indian converter. This is what the page looks like. Okay, you can freeze frame and take a look at that, type it down, copy it down. Anyways, that's how you would find that if you don't know where it is already. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a file. So that's right here. So I'm going to choose a file, and I'm going to look on my desktop. Okay, this is my desktop, and test map right there. That's the one I want. So I'm going to take that one and I'm going to open it. Okay, now I've got it right here. It shows test map GPX. That's my GPX file, but I'm going to convert it to another GPX file. So I click on that. It's thinking. It's done thinking. All right, so now I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that back on my desktop again. And this one here, I'll call it test map, and with a little A for altered. Test map A, just to make it look a little different. This is a GPX file also, so I'm going to click on that. Now I've converted it twice. All right, now I'm going to go back to my desktop, and I should have that file right here. There it is, the one with the A on it. Yep, that's it. So I'm going to take that one and I'm going to put it on a USB stick. Okay, next step, let's put this on the motorcycle. Alright, let's put this on here. Alright. Okay, now let's see if we can load this map up. First thing we need to do is we need to go in here. We're going to go and hit saved. If you're on home or something else, you want to go down to saved. And down at the bottom it says send to from USB. So I'm going to click on that. And on here you'll see that it has all these different maps. Now the one that we made was test map A. So I'm going to hit this little arrow, and that's going to say import this route, and I'm going to hit yes. Okay, it's imported, and that's great. Now I'm going to hit the little go back button, and now you'll see that under my saved routes, I've got this new one called test map A. So I'm going to hit that one, and I want to calculate that route. Now it gets a little tricky here, because what we need to do is we need to make sure that it goes on the route that I had set up before. Now, up here in the right-hand corner are options. Now, what you can do is you can go fastest route, shortest route, scenic route, avoid highways, avoid toll roads. I found that for all of the maps I've used so far, shortest route worked pretty good. When I put fastest, it took me off onto highways. If I said avoid highways and fastest, that sometimes worked. So you're going to have to play around with this to make sure that it works for you too. So double check your map after you put it on to make sure it did not change. And once you get that to here, you can hit go, and it sets you up and off you go. So I just wanted to show you those things. There's a couple things you have to watch out for when you bring it on the motorcycle, but it works. It works. Okay, so that's kind of a little rundown on how I do it on my Roadmaster. You might want to do it a little bit different, but that should get you started. The biggest thing is the settings that are in the Roadmaster software. I really wish they would make one more update, and that update would be so that you didn't have to pick any of those settings, avoid toll roads, fastest way, shortest way, those kind of things. So you could unclick everything. I wasn't able to unclick everything. One thing had to be clicked, and it needs to be so that you don't have to click any of those, and that way the software, I think, would not force a change, and maybe they'll come up with that in the future. So hopefully we'll see that, and that'll alleviate that one last little problem. I did notice that earlier on some of the footage that it didn't show up that well when I showed the screen, but if you have one of these motorcycles, you know where I'm pointing and you know what I'm talking about. So hopefully that helped out a little bit, and until next time.